What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something that's been eating away at me for a while, Triple H's version of WWE. Now, when Vince McMahon stepped aside and Triple H took the reins, fans were hyped. People thought we'd finally get long-term storytelling, new stars, and a fresher product. But honestly, what we've ended up with is a mess. In my opinion, Triple H's WWE sucks, and here's why. I'm not saying there aren't good matches or good wrestlers, but the overall direction feels off. Today, I'm breaking down all the reasons the product isn't working: too many titles, pointless storylines, too much celebrity involvement, and more. Let's get into it. Too many titles, too many shows. One of the first problems under Triple H's creative direction is the oversaturation of championships. Back in the day, a WWE title or Intercontinental title meant something. It carried prestige. You could name every champion because those belts mattered. Now? There are so many belts floating around that half the time I don't even remember who's holding what. Raw has titles, SmackDown has titles, NXT has titles, and then you've got all these random tag team belts, mid-card belts, women's mid-card belts, and men's and women's WWE speed titles. It's exhausting. When there are too many championships, none of them feels important. And it's not just the championships, it's the number of shows too. We've got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, LFG, Evolve, premium live events almost every month, and sometimes crossover events. WWE used to feel special when the big moments happened at the right time. Now, it feels like the company is trying to shove as much content down our throats as possible, just for the sake of it. If every wrestler has a title and every week has another big show, what's the point? Championships are supposed to feel like the pinnacle of achievement. Instead, under Triple H, they feel like participation trophies. Too much celebrity involvement. Now let's talk about celebrities. WWE has always dabbled with celebrities, from Mike Tyson in the Attitude Era to Floyd Mayweather at WrestleMania. But the difference back then is those appearances were rare and they elevated the show. They made sense. Today? It feels like every pay-per-view or big show has to have a celebrity. Whether it's Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, or random musical guests, it's overdone. I get it, celebrities bring mainstream attention. But the more WWE leans on them, the more it tells fans that the wrestlers themselves aren't enough to sell the show. It's frustrating to see part-timers and outsiders get more spotlight than the full-time talent who are there busting their backs every single week. When Logan Paul is being treated like a bigger star than 90% of the roster, that's a huge problem. Triple H talks about building stars, but how are you building stars when celebrities constantly jump the line and take the big matches? Partnering with other promotions makes WWE less unique. Another huge issue is WWE's willingness to partner with other wrestling promotions. Now, some fans love this. They think crossovers are cool, they think it opens the forbidden door, and they think it creates dream matches. But let's be honest, this isn't WWE's lane. WWE built its empire on being the destination for wrestling entertainment. They weren't part of the wrestling world, they were above it. If you wanted the big stage, the bright lights, WrestleMania, you came to WWE. Now with Triple H's leadership, WWE is blurring the lines and trying to act like just another company. Sure, we've seen mentions of TNA, we've seen hints of crossover. But when WWE does that, it loses the aura of being larger than life. Why does WWE need to share the spotlight with other promotions when it's supposed to be the global leader? Instead of elevating WWE, it waters it down. Back in the day, WWE didn't need to acknowledge anyone else. They were the show. Now, by cozying up to smaller promotions, they're telling fans, we're not enough. That kills WWE's uniqueness. Lack of major storylines. And here's maybe the biggest crime of Triple H's WWE, the complete lack of compelling major storylines. WWE is supposed to be about stories. Yes, wrestling matters, but the thing that made WWE stand out for decades was its ability to weave narratives that hooked fans. Think Austin vs. McMahon, Rock vs. Cena, the Bloodline saga in its prime. These were stories that had people tuning in week after week. Now? We don't have that. Matches are happening, but there's no big hook. There's no storyline that carries Raw and SmackDown forward in a meaningful way. Wrestlers cut promos, fights happen, titles change hands, but where's the drama? Where's the emotion? Triple H may be great at giving us technical wrestling, but wrestling without storylines is like a movie with no plot. You can have the best action scenes in the world, but if the story doesn't grab you, who cares? Storylines dropped without explanation. And when WWE does start something interesting, they have a bad habit of dropping it out of nowhere. How many times have we seen a feud suddenly disappear, or a rivalry just end with no payoff? This is incredibly frustrating as a fan. You invest your time and energy following a storyline, only for WWE to pull the rug out from under you. Triple H promised long-term storytelling, but instead, we get half-baked plots that vanish because creative loses interest, or because someone backstage changes direction at the last minute. Remember when storylines used to actually finish? When rivalries had clear winners and losers, or twists and turns that felt earned. Now, it's just silence. No explanation, no closure, just dropped. And that kills fan investment. No clear faces or heels. Here's another major problem: characters have no definition anymore. Back in the day, you knew exactly who the hero was and who the villain was. Austin was the anti-hero, Rock was the cocky superstar, Undertaker was the dark force, Triple H himself was the conniving heel. Now? It's all shades of gray, but not in a good way. We don't know who we're supposed to cheer for or boo. One week someone acts like a babyface, the next week they act like a heel. WWE calls it complex characters, but it really just feels like confusion. When fans don't know who the good guy is and who the bad guy is, the emotional investment goes out the window. Wrestling thrives on clear conflict. Good versus evil. Hero versus villain. Without that clarity, matches just feel like exhibitions with no emotional weight. Kayfabe is dead. Another reason Triple H's WWE sucks is simple: kayfabe is dead. Now, I get it, we all know wrestling is scripted, but part of WWE's charm has always been suspending disbelief. You could still buy into the stories because the company protected its characters and its universe. But today? That's completely gone. And honestly, Triple H's WWE isn't even trying to protect kayfabe anymore. The release of the WWE Unreal Netflix documentary basically tore down the fourth wall for casual fans who might still enjoy pretending. It's like the company is screaming, "Hey, this is all fake. Don't take anything seriously." That kills the magic. And then look at how characters are being booked. John Cena, one of the most protected babyfaces in wrestling history, randomly turned heel for a moment, only to flip back to being a face out of the blue. No story, no explanation, no payoff. If you're going to break kayfabe and play with Cena's character, at least commit to it. Instead, WWE teases something huge and then backs out immediately, which makes everything feel hollow. The death of kayfabe means nothing feels real anymore. Rivalries don't feel personal. Betrayals don't sting. Title wins don't feel historic. WWE has traded in the illusion of reality for behind-the-scenes content, social media pandering, and last-minute swerves that don't even make sense. And under Triple H, that problem has only gotten worse. Too much focus on wrestling, not enough storytelling. And this ties into my final big point: Triple H is too focused on the wrestling itself, and not enough on the entertainment side. Yes, the matches are technically good. Yes, the wrestlers are incredibly talented. But here's the truth: WWE isn't supposed to be just wrestling. WWE has always been about sports entertainment. It's the drama, the over-the-top characters, the soap opera-level storytelling. That's what sets WWE apart from other companies like AEW, NJPW, or TNA. But under Triple H, WWE is starting to feel like just another wrestling promotion that prioritizes in-ring work over creating memorable moments. Fans don't remember 5-star technical matches 10 years later. They remember storylines, betrayals, promos, and iconic moments. People still talk about Austin spraying beer on McMahon, Undertaker throwing Mankind off the Hell in a Cell, or Cena's ruthless aggression debut. That's storytelling. That's spectacle. And that's exactly what Triple H's WWE is missing. So, why does Triple H's WWE suck? It's simple: there are too many titles, too many shows, too much celebrity involvement, partnerships that make WWE less unique, no major storylines, constant storylines dropped without explanation, characters with no clear identity, and an over-focus on wrestling at the expense of storytelling. Triple H might be pleasing hardcore wrestling purists, but he's forgetting what made WWE a global juggernaut: stories, characters, and moments that transcended wrestling. Until WWE gets back to that formula, the product will continue to feel flat, confusing, and uninspired. So, what do you guys think? Do you agree with me that Triple H's WWE sucks, or do you think I'm being too harsh? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more wrestling breakdowns. Thanks for watching.